If you like content where we get straight to the point, no fluff, no nonsense, and you best subscribe, guys. I'm almost at 2K. Let's get it. Now, I made a video talking about things that actually, make you more interesting as a person. Now, people said to me, okay, well, what kind of topics do you talk about? Let's say you're on a date. Let's say you're meeting a girl. Let's say you're in a relationship. What kind of things should you talk about with women, right? So the first one is talking about your life, talking about your actual life, what you do, what you like, what you enjoy. That's a great conversation to speak about. But a great conversation to speak about as well would be her life, her goals, her aspirations, her future. What does she like to do? I'd say conversations to avoid are things like sport conversation. Women don't really care about sports. Like, for example, I love boxing, but I'm not going to sit there and talk to my girl about boxing every single day. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, talking about sports, boxing, football, all these things, unless your girl is really into that, then fine. But most women don't really care. So don't be talking too much about football, Barcelona, Real Madrid, football, sports. I'd say avoid politics, avoid these kind of things. That doesn't really need to be spoken about. What needs to be spoken about is, like I said, your environment, where you guys are, what you guys are doing, what you guys enjoy. Talking about relationships, talking about love, talking about chemistry, talking about movies, TV shows, hobbies, things that are fun and interesting. These are the things as well, is that so many dudes get into relationships and they're like, oh, but I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to talk about. Oh, I don't know. And then these things end. And it's like, no, you need to find conversation topics that are actually interesting. Talking about music is a great one. What music does she like? Does she like to dance? Does she like to play an instrument? What type of music? That's a great one to speak about. Another great one to speak about is family. Talking about your family, talking about her family, talking about building a family, talking about what values she's learned through her childhood. These are great conversations to speak about. Like I said, things like worries, struggles, depressing things about like, no, these kind of conversations, no. Anything to do with, like, let's say like something bad happened to one of your friends, that doesn't really need to be spoken about, because these kinds of conversations are not really like, no, like obviously if you're in a really long-term relationship, then that's fine. But we're talking about you've been dating someone for a couple months. You shouldn't be talking about like sociology or like, like these really deep topics about the universe and all these kind of things about religion. Like, I'd say avoid those kind of conversations. Keep it light, keep it fun, keep it interesting, because it's all about emotions. It's all about creating a good emotion, creating a fun environment. Guess what we're going to do today or next week? I can't wait to take you to this restaurant. Or it should be fun and interesting and light. You should never talk about like depressing things or things that are just sad and just generally bringing the mood down and the vibe down. Obviously, if it's a long-term relationship, that's different. But we're talking about getting to know someone here. We're talking about the first 3 to 5 months of a relationship. It should be interesting and actually talk about topics which actually are interesting. So that's why I said your initial environment, what you guys are doing, where you guys are going, what's going on in your life, what's going on in her life. These kind of conversations will elevate any conversation. Another great topic to talk about is food. Talking about food, talking about seasoning, talking about culture, talking about what type of food she likes, what type of food she don't like, why she doesn't like those types of foods. What about these types of foods does she like? Does she like more salty, more savory, more sweet, more sour? What kind of foods? Food conversations are great conversations. This is a topic you can even speak about with a random person you've just met. You're there in a shop and you're about to order something. Oh, what do you normally order when you're here in the line? Oh, okay, I normally order this. Oh, okay, I might try that next time. Da, 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 da. You can start a conversation. This is what I'm saying. Food, TV, shows, movies, these kinds of things. She wants to make little TikTok videos together. Okay, cool, let's do that. Something that's interactive, that's fun, light. These are kind of conversations that you should speak about. Don't be talking about all these kinds of things. Work, what's going on in your work, how long is your work, what have you been doing at work. These kinds of things are not really, going to kill the vibe, and it's not really too interesting. Nobody really cares. Even when you speak to your friends, do they really care about every single detail that happened at work and what exactly your boss did and your manager did? Nobody really cares, bro. So this is what I'm saying. Things like work, things like stress, depressing topics, things that are just like down in the gloom, what you're talking about, thinking about 3 a.m. That's not the kind of conversations. When you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, you want to keep it elevated and keep the mood on a fun vibe. That is the way some people really kill relationships off early, is that some dudes they get into a relationship with a woman and then they start talking about their depression and talking about like anxiety and talking about sad topics and talking about their friend that just got broken up with and talking about all these kind of things. That doesn't help anybody. That doesn't actually build attraction or build a longer relationship. If you want to build a relationship, you need to know with that person. You can speak to the person and say, oh, why did you not last relationship not work out. But don't go too into these kind of conversations, because that's the past. You're trying to build a future with the person. So yeah, like I said, talking about, fun environments, talking about love dynamics, talking about your life, her life, TV shows, music, her future, talking about these kind of conversations are going to push the conversation forward. But don't be discussing how much money you have in the bank account, or what's your favorite sports team, or political views, or talking about the government, or talking about these kind of things, because these conversations don't actually go anywhere, or don't actually help you in the right direction. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is just a quick video because someone said to me, oh, I don't know what to talk about. So I said, all right, I'm gonna make a video on what to talk about. Those are conversations you can talk about. Fashion as well is a great conversation as well. Women love fashion, they love clothing. Oh, okay, where did you buy this? What type of clothes do you normally go for? What type of style of clothing do you like? These kind of conversations are what you can build attraction with, because it's not just about your looks, bro. It's not just about your looks. You can look amazing and go gym every single day, but if you're a boring person, it's not going to work, bro. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed my video. My name is Chris. You gotta take care and have a great day.